Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am actually solely going over Minecraft lore for the asexual server that I am a part of. And I have to give a lot of kudos to Minecraft YouTubers because I've been spending every spare second that I can playing in this creative world to try and create something that was worth looking at today. And it's not nearly as far as I want it, and I am rather exhausted. So hopefully I gave you something good today. Starting with these two pink lines. The outer one is the outer limits of my build, so it's a 600 by 600 block space that I'm working with. And this inner one is going to be where I terraform to so that in the future I can get a nice gradient from actual terrain to super flat land. And I'm working on making these floating islands. There's going to be a lot more, but I've only gotten a few started, unfortunately. I've ended up putting most of my work on the center ring because Fortinbras is going to be a place that is generationally built. So there is the old architecture. What is that? Oh, those are my gradients. The old architecture, then there's going to be new architecture, and as well as ruins. And you'll be able to see that through color choices as well as overgrowth. The whole idea of Fortinbras is that it's an ancient city that got found and is being used by newcomers. And I'll go over a little bit more of the lore as we go on. So I obviously haven't been doing interiors at all, but this is a lighthouse. It is based off of BioShock, and the goal is when you enter, you'll be able to hit a bell and open up the path to an elevator, which will then take you up. And now that we're at the top, we can step out, and this is the old center ring. So the goal will be, this will kind of be jagged, like someone ripped through it instead of this nice perfect circle, and they placed the lighthouse here. These walls here are old walls, so they're going to be a bit torn down. There will be some rubble around, and there will be holes patched up with the yellow to brown gradient, as well as vines and leaf blocks everywhere. It's just going to be really overgrown and messy, but this used to be a magical courtyard, and they tore out like the centerpiece to put the lighthouse in. And you would end up being able to leave going out this way. Obviously you won't be swimming through lava because I'll put some bridges in the future. And there will be different little terminal ports that lead to the main 4 islands that are northeast, southwest. The one I've gotten the furthest on is over here. So you can see the stone palette design. And I admit I completely stole this idea of building in stone first from Pearlescent Moon. I've seen some of her builds where she'll start designing something and then go back and add in the actual blocks. And that has been very useful because it means I'm not struggling with both things at once, both like how it looks as well as the blocks that I want there, even though it takes a little bit longer. But if we go down here, you'll see this is very basic start of things. But this is what used to be a bazaar or a marketplace for the people of Fortinbras, the original builders. And what it's going to be repurposed for is a mega storage base. So the idea will be eventually you can come in, there'll be a little chest or something here, and then through a complex system there will be just a ton of chests with storage and you can climb up and get to. And I don't know how it's going to work entirely. I'm not the best at redstone, and this will be the first time I do it, but that's why I'm making a mock-up first. And this is important, but This is the first statue that I've created, and it's a strider. The reason why there is going to be lava instead of regular water pools or things like that is because the original society worshipped striders. So they will be some of the creatures that walk around. And I made this little statue, and I'm actually really proud of it. I think it's adorable. I can't wait to set it up in the actual color configuration. But that's also why you have the red accents in the center, because the original people were very lava and fire focused, and they use it as a source of heat and energy. Here we've got some islands that are going to be connected that I plan on doing more with, but I've just started some outlines. And these are a little tricky because there's going to be a combination of old builds and new builds and repurposed. So you can see the signs here. This is a villager home, and combined means it's going to have both old aesthetic and new aesthetic. Whereas this one's the newer ones are the bigger rings, because with technology people tend to want things to be bigger, whereas the older villager homes are like this. They're much smaller. And this is going to be a little gardening area. So when I get this built up, there's going to be planter boxes and things. There's going to be a lava river coming through and going down and then hitting the bottom down there. And it starts up here where we have old villager ruins. So there's going to be a couple of little houses, or one little house, two bigger house. There's going to be some forest, some felled trees, and then there will be a little farming area. And then this one over here is just an old village ruin that they haven't repurposed yet. So it's going to be all old buildings, and there's going to be a little center square and some mutual farmland. And these houses will be where other people can live as well as the castle when we get to that. That island hasn't got anything yet. I actually plan on creating a spa somewhere around here, because this one, well, I don't know if this is the spa or the Airship Yard. Okay, so I think this is going to end up being a parkour space. I want Fortinbras to be both useful as a mega build as well as have a reason for people to want to come and visit. So the Airship Yard it was originally a place where the original village, the original people that lived here would have been building hot air balloons and stuff to go and explore and bring materials back. And it's really being used much as the same, but more updated with warships and the like. But for practical purposes, it is also going to be a parkour space. So we will be able to have drip leaves and things, and it'll be the overgrown stuff. And I want to try and make it easy enough because the Ace server allows people on Bedrock and their phone and Java to all play, and the Switch, I think. So I want to be able to make it easy enough for everyone to be able to do and just have fun, because that's important to me. But there'll be other stuff built up. There's going to be more technology-esque things here. Maybe a couple of farms that are more done by hand, because this is more aesthetic than anything. This place is going to be the castle. So I'll actually have the hot springs and stuff between these two. So this is going to be the place where I make my home and have a lot of focus on interior design, and it will have been repurposed from the old castle to a sort of commune home for new villagers. So while I'll have a lot of villagers out in the distance doing their thing, this will also be the place where you kind of go for villager trades and stuff. It's the main focus will be here. Even though you can go trade with them over there, but they're more just people that live these are going to be the commune where you do most of your stuff. And I'll probably make it another week of Minecraft when I start working on the castle so I can show it off properly. Okay, so the last place is actually over here, and I've been mentioning this a couple of times. This is going to be the temple. It's also, I hope to make it an AFK place, so you go over to the temple and it's like you're praying, but you're just hanging out, and meanwhile there will be gunpowder drops and other mob drops and all of that stuff, and I want to funnel it back up here to be able to collect. I don't really know what the temple will be repurposed to for the new peoples of Fortinbras, but old version was a temple. It's going to be based off of some of the buildings in Athens, so there will be more very tightly connected circles that help you go up to where you will AFK. And that's all the practical stuff. But I can actually get into a bit of the lore now as I come over here to where my not so secret room is going to be, where I'm going to keep all my super valuable stuff. Okay, so the lore of Fortinbras is thousands and thousands of years ago, an ancient people were able to find a series of floating islands. Using a series of magic and technology, they were able to create a space that was just for them, corralling the islands together and eventually creating a fantastic world that was safe from other countries and just general misery. Because of their success at creating peace, they were able to go on and make a world that was more technologically advanced than the stuff below. And one day, something mysterious happened. A mysterious disease came and started wiping them out. So then Fortinbras fell into ruin with only the automatons and their deity guardians, the Strider, to multiplying. Animals moved in and created a home, especially the birds, just because it was easier. Foxes and wolves started to multiply because they were once kept as pets. But other than that, Fortinbras fell into ruin until one day the floating islands came near a series of expats who were fleeing for their lives from another war-torn country. And when they saw the floating islands, they realized that could be a place of security just by making, but they were not a fan of the idea of having the islands just continuing to float on without knowing where they were going. So they used magic to anchor them into place. Magic in massive chains. They created the Lighthouse to climb into so that they may reach the skies. And they tore into Fortinbras and began to modify it for their own reason. They didn't understand the murals or the Striders, and they decided to leave the Striders alone as they began constructing bridges and pathways to the other islands, just really keeping them all together. And with this, they began to feel brave and became more of a warmongering country, creating airships and warships for other countries because they began to get brave and they did not want to be taken over again. And that ended up backfiring on them spectacularly, so they ended up abandoning the warships and choosing to become more agricultural. They kept their copper pipings, they kept the energy and the technology that they have, but they opted to return to a simpler time. But since they had long ago fastened everything down into place, they couldn't exactly let the islands move again, so they are more susceptible to strangers coming in and attacking. They took out the functionality of the elevator and hid it away so that only a select few newcomers could come. But other than that, they have isolated themselves and reverted to a simpler people, a happier people, until new mysterious strangers arrive. And that is where the Ace server comes into play, because they are the new mysterious people. I myself am not a character. I am, if anything, a archaeologist who discovered the place, but I do not particularly consider myself anywhere in the lore. I'm more creating a place for people to join and exist in. The Fortinbras faction is very small. It is currently just me. But if people wish to join, they would not be taking part of war or anything. Their focus would be solely on exploring, creating new places for people to explore, expanding the lore of Fortinbras and the like. So, I'm going to end it here. It's probably going to be a little shorter because I gotta edit out some of my words. Or actually, I just realized that I've been recording with the screen the entire time, so I apologize for some of the jumpier stuff because I'm not sure I'll be able to edit it out. So, anyway, I hope this was an enjoyable way to start the lore of Fortinbras. I will be joining the official lore server once everything is completely flattened out, but I think I need a little break from Minecraft for a couple of days because I am, to be frank, tired of looking at blocks, and I have a lot of artwork that I need to finish up. So, I hope y'all have a great day. Stay hydrated. I'm gonna go get myself some water now, and I will be back on the server in a few days. See y'all later. Bye.